What's up? Rabbi Bright Jones here from RBJ Creative Studio, bringing to you the best and the finest tutorials. Today, we're doing a tutorial in Photoshop. That's camera raw to be specific. So our previous tutorial we did, it was in Cinema 4D, and we learned how to do a basic and simple text in Cinema 4D, and it turned out very nice. It turned out very cool. Yeah, and this is what we got. Just a little bit. Yes. Oh, come on. Not again. Just a little bit. Come on. So this is how it turned out. It looked very nice, very simple. But then this wasn't the actual look. I mean, it looked a little bit pale, but I had to, tweak it a little bit, touch up the shadows and highlights and all those things. So today our tutorial is more based on how to edit your 3D text after rendering them. Yeah, and it's going to be done in Photoshop. That's camera raw to be specific. So let's take our independence. So on our Independence Day, this is what I did. Yeah, I did this one as a happy Independence Day. Yes, it looks quite complex and all, but it's not that very complex. Somehow it's simple, and yeah. Oh, come on, you have to be moving, man. Please forgive me for my it's now in. So this is what I did, and this is the actual thing I did in Cinema 4D. I haven't added any effect or anything to it. This is everything from Cinema 4D. So we're going to take this one to camera raw and start working on it. And there's one thing you should know. Let me just take it inside into our Photoshop real quick. Nice. So this is what you have to do whenever you want to access your camera raw. You go to your edit, then you go to preference, then you go to camera raw. Then we have general, we have file handling and performance. So you go to file handling, then you go to JPEG and TIFF handling. Then you set to automatically open all supported JPEGs and automatically open all supported TIFFs. Then you hit OK. So whenever you import a JPEG or a TIFF, it passes through camera raw before you get what you want it to be. So let me just bring this JPEG into Photoshop real quick, and let's see. It will pass through camera raw. That's it. We have our camera raw 12.0 here, so we don't want this, so we just cancel it. So right now we have our text here, so we go to filter, because camera raw can be located at the filter panel, because it's like a plugin. You install it. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so you can get camera raw the 12.0. So just click on your camera raw filter and it opens up real quick. Well, it depends on your machine. For mine, it's a little bit slow, so you know how we do it. So this is our camera raw, and it's 12.0. So it gives you this normal, basic look. So you just have to start editing real quick. Okay, so let's move to the editing panel. So we have our basic. We'll be using only 4 of these sections. We'll be using the basic, the tone curve, the detail, and the HSL, and the saturation. So let's start with the basics. So first of all, we have our color and our monochrome. For the monochrome, we all know what a monochrome is. It's the black and white. So instead of black and white, we just stick with the color. Then we have our white balance, but these are for photographic images and all these things. And we have our temperature here. You can set your temperature to give it a blue look. I hope you see what's going on. Then you can even get this yellow look, but then we don't want any of them, so we just move to our exposure real quick. So exposure gives you that type of bright effect, but we don't need much of it now, because the highlights and the shadows and whites will do all those things for us. So let's move on to our contrast. The contrast gives you like a heavy, how do I say this? It gives you a heavy kind of looking thing. It gives you this kind of bold thing. Then we have our highlights. We all know what highlights are. So we have our highlights. You can take your highlights way up to brighten up all the lights and the bright effects, like the bright parts in your text. You can also bring it down to tone it down a little bit, but then right now we just need to bring it down a little bit. Then we have our shadows. So as you see, this side on top of the E is our shadow. There's a shadow there. All this part are shadows. So let's just take our shadows a little bit up to give it somewhat nice, somewhat a cool effect. Then we'll move to our whites. The whites also, powers all the whites in the text. I hope you can see, our whites are going up, but then we don't want it to be up, so we just bring it back a little bit, to let's say -32. Then we move on to our blacks to help. Blacks, it's more like the contrast. You see, the contrast gives you something somewhat deeper, somewhat solid. The same thing applies to the blacks, but this time it applies to the blacks only. So just bring the blacks backwards to give us that type of, and it looks nice already. So that's good. Let's toggle between the before and after to see how it looks now. And yes, so as you can see, we have a little bit of changes here. You see, this one looks a bit pale, the before looks a bit pale, and the after looks somewhat brightened up and colorful. So let's just get going. So we move to our texture here, and the texture gives us something. It's somewhat compared to the clarity, because it gives you more brightness and also gives you more detailing in the colors and everything. So the same thing applies to the clarity. We just move the clarity upwards a little bit, and it gives us this solid effect, this solid and bold thing. So our clarity and our texture, it's more for giving us a bit of detailing and everything. Not that much of detailing, because we have our detailed panel there too. So let's move to our dehaze. But the dehaze gives you somewhat like, let's say you want a foggy type of effect in your something like this, but we all know that we don't want this, so we just move it a little bit to give it something deep. Yes, this is quite nice. So you see, our reds are popped up, our yellows are popped up, our greens popped up. Everything is cool, everything looking nice, fresh, niceness. And RBJ Creative Studio will be bringing you all these and more. Just subscribe to the channel, like our videos, and just hit the notification bell so you can get all these things. So let's move on real quick. So we move on to our vibrance, and the saturation is more compared to the colors. So you move the vibrance a little bit forward, not much, just a bit, because the vibrance and the saturation controls all the colors in the text. But then we'll be moving on to our HSL later to edit the colors, so we will just leave this at 00. Then move on to our next, that's a tone curve. So the tone curve is basically for highlights, light, darks, and shadows. But already we've taken care of all those things at the basics. That's the highlight, shadows, and whites. I think that one is okay. But then if you want to get more into detail and like if you want to do more, you just move on to the parametric, that's the tone curve here, and you edit it a little bit. But for me, I don't want it. But you should know this is quite something like a personal preference to me. All these things that I'm doing is like a personal preference. But when you get to know how it works, you can change it and do it your own way. So let's move on to our point. The point is like a curve. You can hold the middle part, just shift it up a little bit to give it more like a brightness and all those type of thing. You can control everything here at the tone curve. That's a point. So let's move on to our detailing. So detailing, let me give you a bit of a close-up here. So the detailing is like sharpening the text, and giving it like a nice effect. As you can see, I added some bit of noise in the black here, and I don't know if it's cool or not, but you guys can tell me and leave me something in the comment section. And also, if you have any type of contribution or suggestion, I'm open for all those things, so just leave it in the comment section. So our sharpening, that's a detailing. We start with our sharpening, that's the amount. We just move it up a little bit, and as you can see, there's been a bit of changes in the text here. You can see there's been a detailing. So let me toggle something for you to see. I'll be moving way higher so you can see how it works. So right now I'm way higher, that's 150. Let me come back so you see how it works. So I'm back to 0, and look. I hope you saw that. So we just take it up a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, let's say 35 is okay. Then our radius too, we'll make sure our radius goes a bit forward, because our radius it also contributes to the amount of the sharpening. Then our detailing, the detailing also helps, because let's say you want to get more details in your text, you can just move up a little bit, but we don't want much of everything. We just somewhat medium, somewhat small, somewhat, not there, not something like that. So just a little bit of detail and we're good to go. Then we have our mask, but you should know that for the mask, it works like this. You can hold alternate and drag the mask. It will give you this type of white, something like this. And you should know the effect only applies on where the white stuffs are, where it looks white. And if you bring it backwards, you see the white increases and a whole lot. But then for me, I want it just a little bit. We don't want much of everything. We don't want little of every medium, not there, something like that. So I think this one's going to be cool for us, and that's it. And we move on to our next thing, that's noise reduction. For this noise reduction thing, I don't think there's too much noise in our text, so I just have to leave it. But then if you want to remove noise from your text, you just shift the luminance a little bit. You make sure your detailing to it is controlled, and the contrast. And also we have colors but then it controls noise in colors. If there's noise in your color, you just move it up a little bit and it works that way. But I don't want it, so I just take it out. I'll take it out real quick. So that's the thing for the sharpening. That's the detailing. So let's move on to the HSL adjustments, and we have our hue and our saturation. Let's zoom out first. We have our hue and our saturation, and one thing you should know, these colors represent everything here. So we have our reds. If I shift my red forward, you can see my red becomes more popped up, and we have our oranges too. If you move it, oranges in the text becomes more popped up. But then I don't think there's much of oranges in the work, so let's just bring it back a little bit. Then we have yellows for the independence. You just take it up a little bit. We have greens for the day. Then let's say a little bit of aqua somewhere, just small. Then blue, but I don't think there's any blue in our text, so let's just leave the blue, or let's move it a little bit. A little bit. So just a little bit. And we have our purples and magentas. There's no purple or magenta in this guy, so we're just going to leave the purple and magenta out. We don't want you both. Take you out. Yes. So luminance, this is what luminance does. If we want our red to be much deeper, we bring the luminance backwards. That's the reds. You see how it turned out? It becomes brownish. So, and if you want it to be much lighter, you can take it forward for the reds to be much lighter. So that's how the luminance aspect works, and it works for all the colors. Then we have our hue. For the hue, it changes the colors. Let's say our reds can turn pink just right now. Somewhat pink. You see how it turned out? That's what the reds can do for at the hue side. The same thing applies to the same red. If you take it forward, it can turn orange. Same thing applies to the orange. Orange can turn yellow. The same orange can turn red. Same yellow too can turn green. So that's how the hue works. The hue changes the colors from a different color to a different color and all sorts of things. So this is what we have here. So let's just shift to our toggle. That's the before and after. And wow, that's a lot of difference. A whole lot of difference. So I think I dig this one. I dig the after. So let's just take the after real quick. So this is all we need for our text. We don't need much, just this, and we are good to go. So as I told you earlier, we will use only 4 of these. For the rest, it's more like a photography thing, more advanced setup and stuff. So right now we have our text here. We have all the things we did. We want to save it, should in case we want to use it the next time. So you come to these guys here, you just click on it. We have load settings and save settings. So you go to save settings. Then for these, it's all the things that you've already worked on. Sometimes you want to take some out, you just take it. But now I don't want to take anything out, so you just go to save it gives us a pop-up. And this is the folder that contains all the presets that I've saved. So all you have to do is just save. So let's just do it. Independence presets real quick. Then click on our save. So as soon as we save, it goes into our folder. So let's come to the last part. That's a preset here, and let's look for independence. Where are you, man? Nice, that's it. So if you can locate it, you can see there's the independence preset here real quick, and it looks I mean, yeah, it's cool. So you just save it, so next time you come back to use your camera roll, you can apply the independence preset to everything you want to do. And I mean, yeah, it looks nice. So ladies and gentlemen, this is why I take you wait, I think we're not done. You just hit on OK to commit the changes. Wow, this looks pale. So camera raw filter in progress. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and voila, this is what we have. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you here. There'll be another tutorial very soon on Cinema 4D as to how to get much detail in your text, how to create materials and all those things. Just make sure to do this. Subscribe to the channel, like my videos, and make sure to give me any suggestions, anything you want me to add or remove out. And I mean, yeah, so it's RBJ Creative Studio. Rabbi Brian Jones here, and I'm out.